Hi, I'm Stephanie Rivers, and I want justice. The police officers involved showed reckless disregard. Hello and welcome to the video version of my journal. I'm Stephanie Rivers. Come on into the conversation. I am multicasting on several platforms, including Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and LinkedIn. So come on in, kings and queens, and welcome to the conversation. If you are a subscriber, welcome to the broadcast. And if you are just passing through, you're welcome to sit and chat. And I know you're going to like something that you hear and see. So I'm going to ask that you subscribe and give a thumbs up to the video so that when I post new videos, you will be the first to know. I try to start off the video with a little music so we can get some mood music going before we get started. But if you know me, you know I'm going to be talking about something that is worth the conversation. So here's what we're going to talk about. If you thought that your student loan was about to get reduced by $10,000 because you believe everything that Joe Biden says, or because you believe in miracles, maybe you can stop checking your account for the balance to be reduced, because it's probably not going to happen. In case you didn't hear, last week the federal government did an okey doke move. They changed who's eligible for that student loan reduction program that they were talking so much about earlier in the year. First, the Fed said that there were income qualifications. So if you filed your taxes as a single person and you made less than $120,000, then you were eligible. Or if you were married and filed jointly and you and your spouse made less than $250,000, then you are eligible to get your student loans reduced. But now, well, that seems fair. It seems fair that people who are high income earners, if you can make that much money, then you have no reason why you're not paying, that you shouldn't pay your student loan debt. So we're in agreement on that. But now they're coming up with another reason why you might not qualify. So if they didn't get you with that first one, because most people in America don't make that much money. Okay, so then you're like, okay, I'm good, I'm still eligible. But now there's another qualification that could block 770,000 additional people from getting their student loans reduced. You didn't know about that, huh? Well, listen up, because I'm about to tell you why you might not be eligible to get your student loans reduced. So, what is the new qualification that would keep more than 750,000 people from getting their student loan debt reduced? It's if you have a student loan that is privately held, then your loan is not eligible to be reduced through this program. Now, let me explain, because you might be like, what now? What you talking about? So I'm going to put a link in the chat from an article that talks about, let me try to do this right fast because I should have had it pulled up. This is an article that talks about your student loan reduction. And so you can, some people prefer to read, like me. If it's something that's talking about my business and my money, I want to see it in writing. Okay. So I'm putting a link in the chat. This is an article that talks about, it gives you better explanations on your student loan debt reduction qualification. And it's at eurweb.com, and it says Biden administration scales back student loan forgiveness plan. And so, yeah, you can go ahead and look more at that if you want to look at it. But I am going to tell you about it. So, there are two types of student loans. There's a privately held student loan, and then there are federal student loans. So some companies service both kinds of student loans. So just because you have a loan that you took out to pay for your college education doesn't mean it's qualified for you to get it reduced by $10,000. Or just because you took out a loan, that says it's a student loan, it has to be the right student loan. It doesn't mean you're automatically going to be eligible to get it reduced by $10,000 from that Joe Biden student loan reduction program. So here we go with the games, fam. Here we go with the games. So how do you know if your student loan is privately held or if it's a federal loan? Because privately held student loans don't qualify. The federal loan, student loans, those qualify. You can go to studentaid.gov, studentaid.gov. That's the site that contains all the information about federal student loans. And if you have a federal student loan, then your information will be listed in there somewhere. So they're probably going to ask you for your account number, what school you went to, all of that stuff that people use to verify stuff. So you go to studentaid.gov, and if you can find your information in that site or through that site, then that means that your student loan qualifies. But if you can't find any information about your student loan, then that means that you have a privately held student loan. And unless you already applied to have it transferred over to be a federal loan, like it's kind of like when you refinance your mortgage or when you refinance a car loan, if you already haven't requested that it be refinanced and to roll over to be eligible, then it's too late for it to be eligible, because the deadline for you to do all that refinancing and rechanging it up, it was last week. Now, it's funny how it's a coincidence. No, it's not. It's by design that they told you all this information after the deadline for you to qualify. See, had they told you this months ago when they first announced the federal student loan forgiveness program or whatever they called it, then you would have had time. And maybe they did announce it. I wasn't listening that much because I paid my student loan a couple of years ago. So this affects me here, neither there am I affected. I'm talking about this because I'm trying to help you. Okay. So if you have a privately held student loan, it's too late for you to become eligible for the $10,000 reduction. Too bad, so sad for you. Okay. So, but here's why I'm talking about this even more. Now, because you might want to know, well, why didn't they tell us? Why are we getting this information when it's too late? Because like I said, some of it, they didn't intend for you to participate to begin with, okay? They just put, how people just say nice words and nice programs, but really in the end, they're going to disqualify you along the way so that you are not the one that they want to get it anyway. So now let's get to why Joe Biden did this okie doke move. Now, really, let's get down to why he did it, what they said as to why he did it. The reason the White House is backpedaling is because 6 states are filing lawsuits against the federal government because they are against student loan forgiveness. Say what? Who can be against student loan forgiveness? Well, Arkansas, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, and South Carolina, they are filing lawsuits against the federal government. Now, we could say that Arkansas doesn't want anybody's student loan to be forgiven because nobody in Arkansas goes to college. They quit going to school after high school, okay? But there would be I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I just came off of vacation and I still got some play in me. And so that was my joke for this podcast. Okay. So, no, but really, why are these states really against student loan forgiveness? Is it because is it a race issue? Because a lot of people think everything's about race. And although most things are, this is not one of those things, because people of different races matriculate. That's a college word for go to school. So you learn something today. So it's not about race and it's not about gender, because people of different genders use student loans to go to school. So if it's not about race and it's not about gender, then it must be about who's getting the preferential treatment. It must be about the haves versus the have-nots. Ding, 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 ding. That's what's up. Representatives from the 6 states that are suing the federal government, they just happen to be Republican-led states, okay? So they said a race in student loan debt will be bad for companies that serve as the middle people. Those are companies that get paid to service those loans. Those are companies that get paid from the accounting, like they keep up with the loan, they keep up when it's due, and when you don't pay on time, they're the ones who get paid a percentage of your late fee. They're the ones who get paid off of the interest or a portion of the interest, and they dish it out to whoever gets a portion of it. So that's why these states are saying that Joe Biden shouldn't be wiping out people's debt. That's why they said. Plus, they also said they claim that the president doesn't have the power to make the decision to reduce people's debt, even though there is precedents for it. It's called the HERO Act. Look it up, HEROES Act. That is the HEROES Act was put into place after, I think, the 9/11, the terrorist attack on September 11, 2001. Essentially, that HEROES Act says that the president can do things to ease people's financial woes after war or in a time of a national emergency. And so the coronavirus pandemic was a national emergency, was/is. And so there is precedents that says the President Biden has the authority to do that. So that's what they're saying. But let me get this straight. So you mean to tell me that when President Trump enacted legislation that allowed 400 of the country's wealthiest families to get their taxes, income tax brackets reduced to be the same as middle income people and some high income people who were considered to be not wealthy, but the middle and upper class income brackets, when there were people that benefited from President Trump making those decisions, did nobody try to sue him? Did nobody say, oh, President Trump doesn't have that authority? Why did they not do that? Because it was rich people who were benefiting. And so as long as rich people are benefiting, then rich people don't have no problem with it. But when rich people are not benefiting, oh, they got a problem with it. Because let's go back when it was first announced that President Biden was going to actually not cancel debt, but reduce the debt by $10,000. I felt some kind of way about it a little bit, because I'm like, dang, I've done paid off mine and now I don't get the benefit. Well, I'm not rich at all. Well, I am, but I'm not considered to be wealthy. So I can imagine wealthy people who were up in arms about them not getting the benefit, because they think everything is supposed to be about them. But everything can't be about a certain group of people, because there's too many people in the equation who are affected differently. So everything can't be about wealthy people. But wealthy people don't think like that, though. They think everything is supposed to be about them. So now that it comes around to, wait a minute, somebody is getting reduction in their debt, somebody is getting a benefit, and it's not benefiting wealthy people, it's not benefiting my family, they got a problem with that. So that's what this is really all about. And while I understand how capitalism works, I understand that your debt is somebody else's wealth. I understand that the more debt that some people have, that means the more profit that others make. Why is it that every time the poor and middle class try to get a step forward, there's a whole bunch of people waiting to push you 2 steps back? It just makes no sense. And it's because they get paid off of your ignorance and my ignorance and whoever wants to be ignorant at the time. If they can get paid off of that, they whether you stay ignorant. They really don't care that you're trying to better yourself and your family. They don't care nothing about that. And so you have to care about that, though. And that's what I have learned along the way. I have to care. There's some things that I want to do to help people, or I want to go and have fun, or I want to go and spend money over here. But at the bottom line is, it's kind of like this. And I know you experience this when you go through let's say the grocery store, because everybody goes to the grocery store. And you go to the grocery store and you're trying to check out, and you got all this, the candy, you got the tabloids, you got the chewing gum, you got other people's little kids saying, mommy, can I get this at the last minute? Because what is that called? It's called impulse purchases. Thank you very much. It's called impulse purchases. So you got people who make tons of money off of your impulses, that you just can't control yourself. You just gotta have this hot dog. You going down the street, you see this video, this commercial about this special, that special, this fries, this pizza on sale, this thing, this cake. You going to the grocery store trying to get your cabbage for 75 cents a head, and you gotta pass the dang pastry section on the way to get your vegetables, because they know your impulse is low. Your impulses are high and your resistance to that impulse is low. And so they're trying to sell you on all this stuff. That's why you can't lose weight now. Not me, because I practice impulse control. But this ain't not about me, it's about you. Okay. So that's why we're talking about this. So you have to have more self-control and more and operate within a more educated position about the choices that you make in life, that we make in life. Because people out here DGAF about some of us, okay? They don't care, okay? And so the worst decisions that you make about your life, it means great profit for them. And so that's why it's they get paid off the ignorance of people's bad habits and bad financial decisions. Your debt, your late fees, your interest payments are all going to make other people rich. So they're mad because Joe Biden wants to knock $10,000 off of your $100,000 student loan. It's like, dang, can I just get a break? No, you can't get a break, because that means I don't get the benefit. That's what they're thinking. So as with any debt, I know you're thinking, well, what could be wrong with student loan debt? Well, as with any debt, it depends on how you use that debt. So if you went to school and you got a degree in a field that allowed you to get a job that was going to increase your status, your finances, so that you can make enough to pay the student loan and set aside some money for your future and buy a car and a house or whatever it is that was a good financial decision in your life, then a student loan was good. But we're not talking about that type of decision. We're talking about people who can't even make enough money to pay the student loan back, okay? So that if you're one of those people who went to school just because your parents told you to go and you really didn't want to be there, and while you were there, you barely went to class and you didn't graduate and you dropped out, and while you were there, you were known at the parties, but your teachers didn't know your name, and you just made all the financial missteps, and then you left and you didn't have a degree, or you got a degree but it's in basket weaving because you didn't plan your life out. And now all you have to show for the 4 years is at so and so state university is that you have a student loan, then you didn't do right by that student loan. And so that's what I'm talking about. We need to make better financial decisions and have applied knowledge and use the education that we were supposed to be getting to better ourselves and our families and our communities. So stop waiting for somebody to make your bad financial decisions magically disappear, because even if after all that I've said that you're still, that means and you find out you're still eligible for the student loan debt, you still got some student loan debt to pay. Okay, so again, stop waiting for somebody to make your decisions magically disappear. Make better decisions so that you don't have to hope that someone that someone cares about you. Let me stop trying to use the acronym. That someone cares about you. Okay. Rich people who make the rules, they don't care that you can't pay your student loans. And the politicians who claim to care, most of them are getting paid by the rich people who don't care to vote in favor of what the rich people want. So you're losing out on both ends, okay? So do better next time and teach your kids to do better next time. And I know it feels like, well, I didn't think about this 30 years ago. That's probably what you're saying. I didn't think about this 30 years ago. I didn't think about it 30 years ago either. And I've not always been in the financial situation that I am now. I got better as time went on. But I'll let you in on a little secret. I turned 55 years old last week, and I took a trip to Africa, Morocco, for my birthday. And if you would have told me 30 years ago that, Steffanie, you need to be thinking about when you're going to be 55, I would have been like, what? I hoped I would have made it to 55. So thank the Lord that I'm here. But I never would have thought it would have happened so fast. And it happens fast, people, and you have to be ready for whatever, because as long as you keep living, time is going to keep coming by. It's going to keep slipping by. And so you need to be ready. And the best way to be ready is to surround yourself with people who can help you get to be a better person and to get the knowledge and read for comprehension, not just to be reading to say I finished the book. But you remember when you were in school and your teacher would call you to read and you were good at reading out loud, but then she said, okay, now tell me back what you read. And you were like, And so you have to be not just good at reading and absorbing information, but you have to be understand what it means for you. And so put yourself in a position to be in a team of people or amongst people who make you better and can help you to learn, so that when you have children and nieces and nephews and cousins and friends, you can pass off information to them that makes them better for their family. So do better next time, because there's always going to be an opportunity for you to spend money. And then that reminds me, and I'm almost finished. If you haven't already, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to this video so that when I post new ones, you'll get a notification and you'll come and look. Now, if you haven't, there's this game called Cash Flow. It was created by Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki is the guy who wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. What the rich and middle class, what the rich people teach their kids that the poor and middle class don't. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Anyway, he created a board game, kind of like Monopoly, but it also it's more than Monopoly. It teaches you about making decisions about the money that you have. For example, and then I'm gonna let you go. So, like one of the cards, because it has cards, like in Monopoly, you pull a card. One of the cards, it says you have $1,000. You can go buy you can go buy a TV and some speakers to go with it, or you can go pay for this stock right here. Or you can go put a down payment on an apartment and use it to get rent. So most people will be like, I need a new TV. The Super Bowl, whatever, about to come on. What's coming on? It's the next season of sports is coming on, and I'm gonna invite my friends over, and we gonna have a big giant ass TV to watch the game on, right? So they go and spend that money on some stuff that is not income producing assets, while other people might spend it on stocks or buying a rental property or putting a down payment on the rental property. And so you make your decision. Now, like 10 minutes later, another card will come up and say that $1,000 that you spent on the stock, it has just tripled. Now your asset is worth $3,000. It's something like that. And then the card will say, oh, but if you spend it on the TV, you don't have no money. And in fact, the TV is broken now and it has no warranty. And so real life stuff. So if you haven't, and in fact, I have a cash flow game around here. At least I did. That might be it over there. Anyway, I need to get some people together and play that game. So make better decisions about your life, so your children and your family you can be an example to them. Because if you don't do no better, if you didn't do any better, then going to college and wasting your time at college, and now all you have to show for college is a student loan, then you might as well be living in Arkansas with the rest of those people who don't go to college because they don't see no reason in going to school after high school. Now, that's my other joke for this podcast, because I have good friends from Arkansas. Some of them actually did not go to college because they didn't see no reason in it. And some of them probably did, but I don't know. We just don't talk about it. But anyway, it was just a joke. So I just want you guys to do better and understand that people really don't care about you as much as you think they should or might. And I see someone, Phyllis Petite, is in here that says fast, fast. I don't know what that means, Phyllis. I went to college, but I don't know what that means. But at any rate, thanks for stopping by. To find out more about the things that I care about, you can go to the written version of my journal, and that's at eurweb.com. Thanks. And